Yeah. Aha. Ignorance is contagious. Yo, lift your head up, man. You might walk into something. The scene, fezzes and turbans, 1913, Moorish Jewish temples in Harlem before conscious stardom. UNIA parade, Garvey dressed Moorish as ever, admirals or emirs, catch them in the whirlwind forever. Before Allah, temple of Islam, gods and earth's nations, knowledge of nationality freed us from plantations, allegations, alterations, transfer ownership, proclamations. Fezzes don't mean Morse cause Congolese amputations, playing on emotions of the people asleep mentally. Still asleep, Drew Ali came over a century ago. Although you were told seek and find, knowledge is water for thought seeds in the mind, soil conscience. If constant will exercise demons that haunted your vessel, attempted to get between your temples, go from a lot of man to a devil, plummet to lower levels and actually love it. Lower self junkies acting like troglodyte monkeys, like puppets. Renaissance is unrelated to blacks, check the facts. The Moors are who kept ancestral knowledge intact, expressed in videos, books and raps. What you call a tupu into how to call a liberty cap. Freedom is everyone's job, but most abandon their posts. Now their children are diagnosed with multiple distinctive hosts. Plus they given the order that administer dose. Looking for salvation from out and not innermost, as souls crunch like cinnamon toast. The devil's still happy and stay happy. The message to you ignorant folks. Written on the pages is the ageless wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Written on the pages is the ageless wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Written on the pages is the ageless wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. When I listened to Fred Hampton, he wasn't like modern black men, white power for white people. Did he mean the Klansmen? Brown power for brown people. Did he mean the brown men? And I guess all men. I get it. Do you? I think not. Brahmin, and I don't see them in Chinatown. Feathers up quenching Buddha stood. I gave prophecies to the likes of Nostradamus. The Nostradamus debut number 7 on Billboard. Hooded figure on the cover told us we're still Moors. Don't give pop knew they're not niggas. Even Fruit Quan is a big, you know, from grave diggers. You made the same mistake politicians have, reaping what you sow, talking all that jazz, and still talking. All I see is zombies walking with their eyes low, with their minds in the screen like Max Headroom show. While you worry about fame, I keep my enemies closer, and one eye on dirty Moors and the conscious poser. One hand around the straw man's neck and lower self in the head. Vic Secundas get headshots. Jezebels and jack-o'-lanterns lead them astray because some talk BS about kill cracker. Zombies taking the form of your deceased loved ones, leading you through end of tunnel lights into torture dungeons. Using honey traps against vigilance to some instruments. Propaganda say being more is tied to religiousness. When we are indigenous and bound to the continent. FOH with your flattering manipulative compliments. Ancestral confidence from their accomplishments. Ancestral confidence from their accomplishments. Return to my foreparents' mindset. Keeps me competent, not incompetent. No one to turn to. Every god is a devil, and every devil is my brother backstabbing my culture. Unity with dirty Moors when half of these niggas descend from Lamum killers. And some of you sisters are tripping with your black power fist. And a fool, you happening black. I'm not of it, I'm not above it. But trust me, I know that self, I know the budget. Expect none to teach me. Few teachers reach me, claim my nationality, no free. I ain't mad or hating, but you see I was taken. Hands, I still remember shaking. Placed in a glass tube, holes and hole in my heart to close. Looking like Christ resurrected. Roman sealed rope. Angels gave me hope and kept repeating these quotes. Don't feel pain cause it's all in the mind. And man is mine. Don't feel pain cause it's all in the mind. Man is mine. Man is mine cause it's all in the mind. Man is mine. Man is mine, man is mine, man is mine. Don't feel pain to mine. Gary Davis was our Millennium, Hampton, Fred. PC raps and wanted flash like Duty Allo dead. Lambie wanted line wait to do years for no license. There's no emergency but to pull you over with sirens and catwalks, tinted cruisers, the new grey ones. With two crooked, dirty cops or two gay ones. Baton dick fighting. These niggas are role playing fudges. Separate church and state but the kangaroo court judges. With sashes like Moore's curly wigs to represent. Let's see this where you used to be at. But when you stray, you lost your way from the boss, and then your servant became your boss again, straight from the source, and seem to not want to learn no matter the cost. Following clowns with dresses on, wearing purses and thongs, rapping Negro, put a hex on, send them where they belong. Closet coffin when we off them, got them gagging, no coffin. Not Sicilian mob, more Christopher Walken, just doing my piece, my part and portion. All is mental, man is mine. Repeat this often, angels will in different forms. Prophets manifesting in words, Garvey and soft wind forms. Don't feel pain cause it's all in the mind, and man is mine. Mind don't feel pain cause it's all in the mind. Man is mine. Don't feel in the mind. Man is mine. Man is mine. Man is mine. Don't feel pain cause it's all in the mind.
Make sure you screw your patriots. Let's chattel more than colonists. Yeah, I rock that black tassel. Call me one little woman that goes flexing on all you passive degenerates. Everything, yeah, I'm running it. Cause y'all been waiting for two back. Ain't no acquiescence, no time for that. And indigenous, self-governed, no artifice. Understand when fake it don't apply to me. Real, recognize real. Heed the words I speak. Truth is out here for you Moors. Ask Noble Drew. As I walk, I know what to do. Jurisdiction of our own, servant earth, right, master free. Alhamdulillah. That's alpha. That's alpha. We manifest dreams. I got nothing but a depth on my team with Chickaboo, Alita. That's alpha. That's alpha. 720 more, she running the scene. And we manifesting out of dreams. I got nothing but a depth on my team, Alita.
We got new Moors going more everything. He said was spirit, so everything is order that Moors must follow. But trust me, feel the wrath of Allah for Lord Obama cause you see Moors and teas and snapbacks. 720 rap, don't take back chat. Weak minds get tried and tried, but cases always dismissed, cause Moors come with most sincereness. Text them and leads them to active Moors that study when we eat, study do. We're not sure, when we looking for truth, studying the how you move, plucking rings off a fairy, trying to steal a tooth, and leaving fiat under a pillow, misleading the youth, playing games for reindeer, saying prophet wants suits and long sleeves. My looking my best might be jeans of fatigue with a Moorish pick, or dirty Moors won't tell you about Hilton Hotimo or CW led better science from all the ascended masters, catching alpha hex from pentagram.
Alpha hex, alpha. We manifest that dreams. I got nothing but a depth on my team with Chickaboo, Alita. Hex, alpha, hex, alpha. 720 more, she running the scene, and we manifesting everything. So I got nothing but a depth on my team with Noble Drew, Alita. Hex, alpha, Hex, Alpha, 720, once we run in the scene, and we drinking out that dream. Nothing but a gas on my team, but she could do la leave. Hex, Alpha, Alpha, 720, once we run in the scene, and we manifesting everything out our dreams. I got nothing encapsulated within time. One great minds, we think alike, knowing all is mine. Trading out, rhyme into the Sufis of Imam. As I breathe, I live. As I direct the perceptions on knowing self. In the jurisdictions of elders, terror cognizant on fire, divide mind. Ignorance not a pale face, my eye sees no rank, no truth. Peace, freedom, justice for all. Put out the call. Harem of Beth woke up from the fall. Hex, Alpha, Hex, Alpha. You in the same, and we manifesting everything. Things. I got nothing but a depth on my team, which she could do. Hex, Alpha, Hex, Alpha. 720 the scene, and we send everything out of our dreams. I got nothing but that's from me. Empress Moa by this year, that's who I am. Woolly hair, broad nose. They say the last, so we back again. No holds bar, repping for my.
Repping for what? The nation. That's all it's about. If you haven't, make sure you go. Make sure you go. Sabir Bay Radio at Gmail. So you could listen to the Taj with the brothers, you know. The professor was there. Put some certain things on the record that you might want to check what he's saying, especially since, Black History Month and all of that stuff, know ourselves and all that. Since we're at that time right now where it's know ourselves time. It's know ourselves time. The 1 month of the year to honor ourselves. So we're going to honor ourselves today. For the first, we're going to kick it off. First time ever. Kicking it off live. Canaanland Moors. Correcting Black History Month. Correcting Black History Month. We got to all the Moors, if you got your ready, for all the Moors who got stuff, Moors who are what's up, you know what I mean? We already built already. The other Moors out there, if you got some stuff to shatter this black paradigm BS, Canaanland Moors correcting Black history. All you do is just call and you just put your stuff that you found out as a Moor. Because, we were all once black, we were all down with it at one time. Nobody's excused. But some of us seek some higher information, forget that black. Some of us chose, to put our thinking caps on so that we can make it better for the ones coming behind us. Right? So about 3 months, 4 months ago, maybe longer than that, the good sister Sherece L said, let's do this book. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? We'll do it all Renown royalty, bam, 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 you know what I mean? Then BS always happens that, makes you have to reevaluate, where you are and whatever. So, came up again. We're going to do the thing. It might not be, but I see you're doing live now and all that stuff, so why don't we, so all right, bam, let's do it. But, again, every time, time it's time to, you're always going to do something that's going to wedge to keep you from closing the gap. Just, yeah, we got this wedge. Like, oh my God. Now you got to force this thing back open again and reevaluate it again. So, because we're Moors, you know, we innovate. So we just send the questions as an email. So we'll just read the questions, answer the questions, and, you know, kick off the first Black History book review questions of Nationality, the Order of the Day, the divine message and warning to all Garveyites, Rastafarians, Black Nationalists, and Pan Africans. Make sure you share this with them. Let them know that, you know, since they're Black and all that stuff, we're celebrating with you as Moors, but we're correcting Black History Month. We're not Black, so some can't do the Black History Month thing. But as Moors, we have the power to define. So correcting Black History Month, all the Black guys, you know what I mean? Get on board. So things and relating some things. Keep in mind that this book was, let's see, originally this book was this book. And this book came about. I was studying under an elder by the name of Ital Ayman, and Rastafari Metaphysics Online University. So as Black guy into this Rasta and all that, you know, like physics, what are you talking about? Like, you know, Haile Selassie and Empress Menen, you know, back to Africa, and, you know, one blood and we're all family, and, you know, the Rasta, you know. But metaphysics of that, nah, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, I'm open-minded, you know, I mean, I'm an individual, you know what I'm saying? I don't hear what anybody's saying. I go check for myself. And some things. Remember, this is black mind, right? This is black mind. Introduction. To quote Brother Phil Valentine from his DVD, Book of Earth, I've been inspired. You can take it or leave it. I'm not preaching. I ain't passing the hat, and I ain't promising you Jesus. What I am promising is to open your peripherals of thinking. Right, Book of Earth DVD. If you never seen it, go check and just see what's good. No, we're talking Rastafari and all this stuff. So, all right, so page 20. In philosophy, remember, this is the first book. This isn't the Moorish mind book. This is the Black book. A philosophy that examines the nature of reality, including the relationship of mind and matter, excessive reasoning, and the study of knowing and being, is called metaphysics. The Holy Bible is based on allegory, but what is allegory? Allegory is the representation of spiritual meanings in a concrete or physical form as characters, figures, events, etc. From Ethiopia to Persia, whether Queen Sheba or King Solomon really existed is beside the point. This has nothing to do with the physical. so based on metaphysics that it has its own dictionary. The Metaphysical Bible dictionary does not describe King Solomon, Queen of Sheba, or any other prominent figures in the Bible as people. Sheba indicates the ruling intuitive intelligence of the whole consciousness pertaining to that part that has to do with nature. Solomon, the state of mind that is established when the soul is unified with wisdom and love. Note, Sol is Latin for sun, is Sanskrit for sun, and On is Kemetic for sun. The Kemetic meaning for sun is why we flick a light switch on. Ammon is derived from Ammon. So Sol Ammon is Sol Ammon, or Ammon Amen Ra. Christ, the perfect man idea existing eternally in the divine mind, is the true spiritual higher self of every individual. Each of us has within them the Christ. Christ is the cosmic man, demonstrated, developed, and brought out in every man. In the autobiography, My Life in Ethiopia's Progress, Haile Selassie states, at the age of 13, although my physical strength great, and intellectual power began to increase gradually, and thus to this world open. At 13, young Tafari was crowned Dejazmach, Dejazmach, which door. This was the crowning of Negus, which is derived from Negus Negas, meaning serpent king. This was the same title given to King Tut that gave him the power to rule the throne at 13 years old. This proves that the Egyptian mysteries or rites of passage were practiced in Ethiopia even after the fall of Egypt. Christine Sanford, in her book, The Lion, documents an important part to Rastafari's teachings. She states, the young Dejazmach found himself sent to further his education and enrolled in the New Menelik School, which was founded in the city and put in charge of Hannah Bey Saleb. So we know as Dejazmach, Rastafari was learned in the way of Moorish sciences, as his principal has a Moorish title, Bey, in his name. Bey is a title, and being that Rastafari was a serpent king, he was also learned in the Egyptian mysteries, as the Greeks call them. This is the Black Book. And all this is from, all this is out of the Rastafari Metaphysics School, where this elder just blooted it off all the BS. All the stuff that we were part of, that we thought that was what it really was about, that was the dumb down that people are still caught in today. And, we know Rastas who are either, 12 tribes, Bobo Shanti or whatever, that know that they're Moors. And they say Islam and all that. They know Noble Juali and all that stuff, and they still give honors to Haile Selassie. So for all the people who don't want to be, whatever, don't even play that one. Because we know Rastas who are Moors. They got El or Bey or whatever. Right? So don't even play. Inner Ventures of Amen Ra, Rastafari, Self-Law, and Master Metaphysics. The Rastafarian orders, Bongi, and 12 tribes all have similarities that go back to Africa. This classification into groups is no different than Islamic, Judaic, and Christian classifications. The ego makes you, as an etheric being, think you need to belong to something in order to be recognized. The ego wants you to think that the physical is all there is. Rastafari is moving further away from a liberty and closer to a religion or exoteric philosophy every day. This religion has you think that His Imperial Majesty is an outside of yourself power unattainable by His followers, and that is based on this hierarchy. He is the Savior in your image to direct you to heaven, or in this case, Zion. Religion is given permission to practice by the Vatican and College of Coster Jews. Races have been lured away from highly spiritual teachings to waiting for a savior. The white robes and turbans worn by Rasta priests represent purity, but symbolically represents the auric field and halos. The auric field and halo are signs of illumination or raising the consciousness to its highest point in this physical existence. By seeking God outside of yourself, you allow your prayers or thought projection to be taken and transformed into negative energy to be used against your liberation. His Imperial Majesty had many titles that hold significant meaning in this physical existence, but even more significant is the metaphysical meaning of the titles. Ayman Aitalai, Rastafarian Mystery Schools, to which I am a member, teaches us esoteric knowledge and concepts regarding the name Rastafari. He teaches us Rastafari is 4 syllables. Ra, the sun god. Sta, star Sirius, staff of power, 9, 10. Far, the abode of God, home of Anu. Nibiru, in the far away, a distance in time and space. I, a concept which is in all. Are in line with the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, which also symbolize YHVH. According to George Singleton, the esoteric antonology and Rastafariology, Volume 1, put that one out there again for you. George, the esoteric Atnuology, ATANNUOLOGY, Egyptology, and Rastafariology. Rasta rearranged spells Astra, where Ra generically means the 7 inner sun gods, chakras, and Ast is the heavens, which are these gods' abode. This led to my analogy of Rastafari. Ras is head, but in Kemetic spelled R-E-S, and means to wake up, rise up, or keep awake. Ta, which relates to Pataites, or Twa people, since His Imperial Majesty was small in stature. Far as in distant, I relating to the first I. Lion of Judah. Judah is Tahuti, and the title Jew is derived from Judean. Judean is a corruption of the word Judah, according to Dr. Alim El-Bey in his book First World Order. Lion metaphysically represents the courage to enter fearlessly into the overcoming life and understanding of all things. To understand is to go under the foundation to get a good look at what's going on. Judah also represents the spiritual faculty that corresponds to the accumulation or increase in mental. In Aramaic, Yehudi is derived from Tahuti, meaning wisdom. And then it goes on. Right. The coronation. Finally, we will decipher the coronal majesty and her imperial majesty. Actually, this one's one of the questions, so we'll stop right there. So after, because you hear that Alim-based reference in the book, right? So after this came into the information of Noble Juali and then realized the Holy Trinity, right? You have the personification of the supreme sovereign in Haile Selassie, with the golden fez and all that. And then you have the forerunner and the prophet. Right? And then the significance is not looking at His Imperial Majesty as he's the guy, because it's really about Empress Menen, who their coronation destroyed the so-called separation mindset that people had. Because she was the first ever to be coronated on the same day as the emperor. First one in the whole history. First time ever. Think about how long Ethiopia's history is. And this is the first time ever that the matriarch was honored. Not after him, but with him. Coronated with him. Right? We're going to get to these questions. See where we go. Islam. Question 1. What inspired you to title your first book, Nationality is the Order of the Day, and what does it mean exactly? The concept of the title came directly because now I knew what nationality was. Now I knew what all of our stuff was missing. Because I always studied from everybody. Like I was never part of something and then not study outside of that thing. So finding out about nationality and being under the wings of the Moors in Mecca who brought us in, Moors Order of the Round Table, Great Seal, Moorish Science Temple, Washita, Moorish Paradigm, like being with certain people, that was, the theme of the activity. That regardless of what, nationality is free. This is 2008, 2009. Regardless of what, nationality is free. All these people have to do is proclaim it and declare it. So that's the order of the day, to get in these people's mind that you say whatever the hell you want, but know that nationality is free and it's yours to claim. And that's it. Lecture's over, everybody go home. Lecture's over in 2 minutes. Right? And people are mad when that's really what it is. So that became the title of the book, that nationality is the order of the day. Now, the subtitles, the divine message and warning, was based on, reading the divine warning, coming from the black mindset, reading that and realizing that we are the ones that cause our problems. It's not anybody else but us. Right? And then we try to force that uncivilized position of being black, Negro, African. We came from wherever, but you're in America, but you want to know about something going on somewhere you've never been, but you're here, and you don't want to deal with what's here. The fact that you're Aboriginal, Indigenous here. So Drew Ali laid out so much things in the divine warning to the nations that it was obvious to me that other people need to, check this message. You know what I mean? And it was just, again, recognizing that the Trinity and saying, okay, use all of them, put everything together, break everything down, show how everybody's connected so that there could be no dispute, because it's documented in the back. There's the references and all that. Islam to Khalifa Media. right, for doing the editing and all that. So it was to get the attention of the people who are still stuck in where I was. That, you know, like, I mean, if I could get this, I'm not no scholar. I mean, I just like reading books and stuff, and I study, you know, more so now than even before when we were black, but I still read books when I was black, right? So I'm like, okay, well, if I used to be Rasta, then I have no Rastas, so I'll put them on. But then I used to also be Garveyite. Now people use that they're Garveyite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't say I'm Garveyite because I'm a member of UNIA. That doesn't make me a Garveyite. You know what I mean? Not because I go some pilgrimage to some priest to beat the drum or something like that. I'm not Rastafarian. You know what I mean? Because we're looking at this like how the true Rastas always say, it's all about your heart. It has nothing to do with if you got locks or if you smoke weed and all that stuff. That don't matter. That has nothing to do with anything. Are you living a pure, righteous life? That makes you Rasta. On the higher levels. On these little mundane levels that these people deal with it. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Garveyites. You know what I mean? You know, a slap in the face when the whole time you're paying attention to all this stuff Marcus Garvey did or whatever, but then he's a Maroon. Maroons are Aboriginal indigenous to Jamaica. Like, what do you mean Jamaicans? What do you mean he's a Jamaican? What do you mean universal Negroes and stuff like that? What are you talking about? Yeah, he said that, but that was just said just to get people who are Negroes. But he wasn't a Negro, he was a Maroon. And they got Morristown and all of that in Jamaica. So it's not even like they could say that they don't know what's up. You can't say they don't know what's up. So, okay, fine. We'll put them in there. And of course, we have to introduce to all these people, right, that I'm trying to reach, all the Garveyites, Rastafarians, Black Nationalists, and Pan Africans. Like, I was in all that. So I'm like, yo, don't it make sense? Like, I'm the man you used to call when your children being an ass in school or whatever. And it's me and their children chilling, trying to figure out how we're going to get him to go to school and how to not take the Ritalin pills and all that stuff. That's no compensation. That's just on the strength. Like, that's a little brother. He comes to the program, whatever, mom said, whatever like that. All right, you know, we're going to go see what's up. You know what I mean? Because we know that we're the ones who could regulate them. What you mean? We're the ones who brought Bobby Hemmett to Toronto. First time ever. He never came again, ever. There were black guys who came to the Bobby Hemmett lecture, that they do lectures. They never brought him back here ever again. How come? Right? Brought Kaba here. These people are not bringing Kaba, or they're going to bring Umar Johnson. They're going to bring Polite. They're going to bring all these Claffies to teach their people. When, you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, Phil Valentine, all that. Like, we brought these people here. Directly involved. Like I'm saying, we were key holder for the Marcus Garvey Center. Big building. Huge ass building. Key holder. Caribbean Resource Center, key holder. Redemption Services, key holder. So when you start talking about Moors, realize that people are very standoffish when it comes to Moors. People that we be at their house, killing some vegan whatever, veggie whatever. Moors come up, oh, nobody doesn't know anybody. You know, didn't know it was going to be like that. I figured, you know what I mean, I'll put this out, get these Garveyites, Rastafarians, Black Nationalists, Pan Africans to realize that there's a connection between Noble Drew Ali and all the other stuff that and then, but didn't go like that. You know what I mean? How much of these gave away? Didn't even sell them. Just gave them to people. Here, read this, read this, read this, read this, read this, read this. It's my new book. Just read this, my new book. All right. So, dues been paid. This was the call out. Like I said, divine warning and message to these people. Right. 2014, copyright. 2014 copyright. Now, remember, like, even when you look at the picture, right? Like, it can't be any more plain that they were on the same wavelength. You know, like all these things were on my mind, creating everything. That I have to use things that are going to get these people, Rastafarians and all the people, to recognize that there's a bigger thing going on that you're not paying attention to because you're blocked out. Just because you call yourself black. So you put yourself in darkness. How are you going to see what's going on if you're in darkness? You know what I mean? And then drop the book and only Moors buy the book. I'm like, warning to all Garveyites, Rastafarians, Black Nationalists, Pan Africans. And only Moors. And that's when I realized, so nationality is the order of the day again. Because until our people get that through their head, nothing for them. And Moors will continue, you know what I mean, living out here peacefully in freedom, not having no worries or whatever like that. And these people are going to stay struggling just because that's what they want, you know. It was 2014, dropped the book. And what does it mean exactly? Just look up nationality. That's why it was on the cover, bold ass letters or whatever, so that can be the point. The point is nationality. All Garveyites, Pan Africans, and whoever else. That's the point, nationality. That is the point. Nationality. But again, you know, it's for the people to claim. It's on them. It has nothing to do with people who have a nationality. We already know what's up. We're trying to put you on. Like the more Noir, the elder said, the Arab man asked me, like, yo, what's wrong with your people? How come you know? How come your people don't know? You know you don't have an answer? Like you really can't answer? And the Arab, he didn't even pay no attention to that. All right, forget them. So tell me some more about this Moorish and all that stuff. Let's, you know what I mean? And he went on with his life. Engaging the Moor. No issue. Pale Arab. No racism, whatever like that. No whatever. Nothing. Zero. The Arab, the pale Arab, asked the Moor, what is wrong with your people? Pale Arab sees the Moor put a fez on and goes nuts, loses it. And the only thing he can come up with is what's wrong with your people? How come you know and they don't know? And our people think that we're tripping because we say that we're Moors or that European made that name up and all that stuff. And he didn't say nothing about Moor. He was just wearing a fez. Moor wasn't even part of the discussion. He just got out his ride, put his fez on. Pale Arab lost his mind. And for no reason, he just tripping out for no reason. But you see somebody who's darker than him with a fez on. And we're tripping. Right. Moors know that Garvey is the forerunner of the Moorish divine and national movement. What similarities did you offer to showcase Haile Selassie was on the same path? Well, again, one of the things that we pointed out was the one of the things we pointed out was the Menelik school, right? And the head of the school being an Egyptian, Haile Celeb. And we know who the Bays are. Now, we're talking about in Ethiopia, this is happening. Like over there, this is happening. The head of the school was a Bay. What does that tell you? That he obviously has some type of connection to Moorish history and culture. There's some kind of connection. He's not void of it, right? We talked in brief about the fez. That's golden. That's just what it is. It's not, I mean, why are you mad that we figured it out? Don't be mad. Jump on board. Because we're not wrong. That is a golden fez. That's what it is. Right? Well, now we're making up something. Man had a golden fez. And you're really arguing with Moors? Why are you arguing with Moors when your God had a golden fez? But, you know, you don't want to see that. It's the Triple Crown and all of that stuff. All right. All right. Triple Crown. Page 30. All right. Emperor Haile Selassie is hailed as the greatest of modern monarchs and a symbol of the continent's vast potential. To the Garveyites and Pan Africanists, Haile Selassie is a hero, a Heru, light of this world. To the Rastafarians, as he is the living God incarnate, the living perpendicular in flesh. Two angels support the throne of Solomon on the Solomonic crest. The angel to the left bears the imperial scepter, and the one on the right bears the sword of state and scales of justice. In the Promised Key, Leonard Percival Howell writes, King Alpha and Queen Omega said they are the Black Ark sovereigns of most high times. If Rastafarians knew about nationality, they will see clearly that His Imperial Majesty is not God, but God's dignitary on the earth plane, a living example of how we should deal with nations of the earth. His Imperial Majesty was a modern Noble Drew Ali. Our Armageddon is past. Africa has been reborn as a free continent, and Africans have been reborn as free men. Africans are in bondage today because they approach spirituality through religion provided by foreign invaders and conquerors. We must stop confusing religion and spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans, which were supposed to help people to grow spiritually. Due to human imperfection, religion has become corrupt, political, and divisive, and a tool for power struggle. Spirituality is not theology or ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original, as it was given by the Most High of creation. Spirituality is a network linking us to the Most High, the universe, and each other. As the essence of our existence, it embodies our culture, true identity, nationhood, and destiny. A people without a nation that they can really call their own are a people without a soul. Africa is our nation, and it is in spiritual and physical bondage because her leaders are turning to outside forces for solutions to African problems when everything Africa needs is within her. When African righteous people come together, the world will come together. This is our divine destiny. Emperor Haile Selassie. Now, if that's not echoing what Noble Drew Ali is saying about what the point is, that you can't be a dumb Negro. You need to be on a higher vibration if you even have a thought of saving yourself. And all is mind. So don't tell me about, they go to McDonald's, that's why they can't be conscious or whatever. Forget all that BS. Man is mind. What are you talking about? Somebody's eating something, that's why they can't be conscious? Stop the BS. Right? There is not a mistake, right? When you have an individual that is making a claim with his consort of being the Black Ark Sovereign, and people are looking at that as don't emulate that but worship that. That's brainwash mentality. If you think I'm not Negro black colored, and then you just say that you're a Moor and that's it, you might as well just be Negro black colored. Because once you know that the vibration change, remember, he's talking about spirituality and physical. Noble Drew Ali is talking the same thing when he's saying nationality and you're not Negro black colored. The exact same message. Raise your vibration. You cannot be something that you're not. Right? And remember, to Rastafarians, Haile Selassie is God. So if God has a golden fez on, what do you think? You're getting what you're getting for debating Moors. Just look at what y'all getting. Bunch of religious crazy men with no soul. Remember, that's not what I'm saying. That's what Haile Selassie said. And this is when you realize that, even if they say they know whatever, they still don't read. They don't really read. Why? Because most of the time, all they read is black stuff, African stuff, which gets them nowhere. You might as well not read. The children and grandchildren of Haile Selassie are descended from the Prophet. A number of Ethiopian princes have been Muslim, and though this precluded their ascending to the imperial throne, it did not prevent them from ruling in their own dominions. Empress Menen, consort of Emperor Haile Selassie, bore a descent from the Prophet through her mother, Sehin, daughter of Negus Mikal. Muhammad Ali was his Muslim name. Of Wallo. Male descendants of the prophets are Sherece, Abyssinia forever. The lineage is based on the mother, who was Ethiopian and Ethiopia, known in ancient times as Kush, the holy land to the people of Tamare, misnomered Kemetans. The word Kemetic is not the name of the people who resided in Tamare. They were known as Kamau, Ka''Mau. Kemet is the name of the black soil. The soil is red because of the cataclysm that happened many years ago, read in the Ebers Papyrus, not the black people. Kemnu is the term for black people, as we have erroneously been taught. The name Kemet is a variation of Hekka Patah, Hekkapattah. The name of the land is Tamare, which has a dual meaning. One, the land of Amen-Ra, the actual longitude and latitude of the geographical landmass, and two, the physical human body. Asaru Ma'at Tepenra Ali El Bey, Assistant Grand Chief. The people of Ethiopia and Trinidad and Tobago are joined in a massive and continuous effort to create for themselves a new and better way of life. They face many of the same problems. Haile Selassie. Now again, it's not about going far and getting people lost. Haile Selassie wore a golden fez. Real simple. Noble Drew Ali wore a fez. You're in denial about something, then get your helmet. Parking spot's right over there, sir. Because clearly this is not for you. Right? Moors as a species and Moors as a nationality. Can you point out a distinction, or are they to be viewed as the same? Well, we would say Moors would be the name of the people, right? They would have a description of being dark in their complexion. They would be misnomered Africans, Negroes. Those people are Moors. Among those people, there's, different ones. You go by geographical locations, there's Asian ones, there's African ones, there's American ones. Those are the three main jurisdictions. Now, then amongst those, there's going to be different, but ultimately they're all Moors because they're dark-skinned people. Now, Noble Drew Ali told the Moors that they should be themselves and when we check in law that being ourself is really in propria persona, in full life, once we recognize that, and we're saying that we're in full life, we're in propria persona, I'm my own proper person, that has to belong to something. On a broad scale, it could belong to an empire, belong to a kingdom, could belong to a country, could belong to, and the jurisdiction just keeps getting smaller and smaller. By having a superior claim, the one with that claim has to be from the place that the claim is being made on, whatever the claim is. If they're not from there, then they really can't make that claim. And if they do exercise that claim, it's probably going to be under force of arms. It's not going to be because people agree with it. It's going to be because people were forced to accept whatever position they're claiming. Kudjo Adwo taught that we are descendants of a people who were the founders and the possessors of an empire called Moroccan. Founders of it, the possessors of it. And he told us that because we are descendants of those people, our nationality is Moorish American. And his nationality was Moorish American. So you know that him and you are on the same page. There's no argument about what our nationality is. Now, again, going back to that theme of what jurisdiction you're talking about. Yes, our nationality is Moorish American. But again, if this is Morocco, our nationality would be Moroccan, which Moorish relates to and American relates to. So it might not even be that we're more as a nationality. It would actually be Moroccan and then Moors in that. So there's the melanin dominant species and the melanin recessive species. The melanin dominant species will be Moors. So you can use it interchangeable. Might be applied to a species or it might be applied to a nationality. Regardless, you're talking about you are your ancient foremothers and forefathers here again. And the last time these people seen you or heard about you was when you were called Moors. And they fear the renaissance of that. Because of, what happened to them. Which is why, again, Kudjo Adwo came, Haile Selassie came, Marcus Garvey came with the same message that you are a nation. You're a nation. Kudjo Adwo capped it off by saying, this is what your nationality is. Which is why Garvey was the forerunner. And again, when we read what Haile Selassie is saying, he was obviously taking us on a higher plane in regard to our thinking, because he's the sovereign of an empire. His Emperor Haile Selassie, and he was King of Kings. He was an emperor and a king at the same time. You think that something's not going on? Kudjo Adwo was a prophet, and he was just your brother. prophet was just your brother. And you would see every day pass him on the street. And then you miss him because you're looking for Jesus. You're looking for Muhammad. You're looking for Antichrist. And your brother is right there in front of the barber shop or whatever, telling you what it is. And remember, the prophets don't come from the elite. So Haile Selassie could not be some prophet or whatever and all that stuff. He can't even pass prophet level because he comes from the elite. He wasn't some beggar. He went to the Menelik school. He was the Jasmek at 13 years old. You think he was some nobody? That's why they were grooming him, because they already knew who he was, what his position was going to be. They seen him coming before he came. So they were able to groom him. What did they groom him with? The Egyptian mysteries and more science. His teacher was a Bey from Egypt. What do you want? What more of a connection do you need to show that they're all Moors, whether it's species, whether it's culture, whether it's whatever, it doesn't matter. It's Moorish. Why? Because the people are dark who we're talking about. So they're Moors. Why was that so hard to get? What is the significance of Haile Selassie's spouse being crowned the same day as him? So go to the old book. His Imperial Majesty and Her Imperial Majesty are the 323rd Emperor and Empress, 3238. 8 is the number of infinity, and in our supreme alphabet, he or she who builds the knowledge of self and together destroys the devil's civilization, which makes them symbolized as 8 also in the daily earth, meaning build and destroy. The figure 8 is also the number and sign of infinity, or the never-ending cycle. The 7th chakra is the crown chakra, or height of illumination. If we study universal laws, the law of correspondence tells us as above, so below, as within, so without. So the God we are to be observing on the 7th day is ourselves. The coronation. Finally, we will decipher the coronation of His Imperial Majesty and Her Imperial Majesty, the coronation of Emperor and Empress at that time and still today was the physical manifestation of God and Goddess, which are dormant qualities in every individual within their chakras activated as the perfected tree of life. November 23rd, 1930 was the date of the coronation. 49 bishops, multiple of 7, in groups of 7, held place for 7 days and 7 nights in the 7 corners of the National Cathedral, 11 times 7. 7 is for the aligned chakras, 7 is for her aligned chakras. His Imperial Majesty was also anointed with 7 oils. The symbology of 7 listed above is no coincidence because there is no such thing. Everything happens for a reason. His Imperial Majesty received 7 items on his coronation day. The jeweled sword, base chakra, the orb, navel chakra, the robe, solar plexus chakra, the imperial gold scepter, heart chakra, 2 lances, throat chakra, double-edged sword, diamond ring, third eye, the triple crown, crown chakra. These 7 items and 2 lances represent truth or the double-edged sword and are the physical representation of the chakras, the understanding of His Imperial Majesty and Her Imperial Majesty being coronated on the same day, which was the first time in Ethiopian history, shows the correlation of the male and female supporting each other. Of the 7 items received by the emperor, according to tradition, 3 items will be duplicated for the empress, the robe, ring, and crown. This would bring the total number of items to 10. In the Promise Key, Leonard Percival writes, King Alpha and Queen Omega said they are the Black Ark Sovereign of Most High Times, the perfect virginity and supreme crown head of holy times, paymaster, and the perfect tree of life. And then the tree of life, from bottom to top, the spheres representing the coronation items, 10, jewel sword, 9 sphere, orb, 8 and 7 sphere, robe, his and hers, 6 spear, imperial scepter, 5th sphere, lance, 4th sphere, rings, his and her, 3rd sphere, or 4th sphere ring, his, 3rd sphere ring, hers, 2 crown, hers, and 1 triple crown, his. Note, Julius Caesar stole the imperial scepter, which was then stolen by the British. When Queen's mother died, this is why the Lion of Judah was placed on her casket. Before returning of the scepter to Ethiopia on Coronation Day by the British monarchy, the Lion of Judah symbol was used to represent the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who we know didn't exist. His Imperial Majesty as the Triple Crown, Empress Menen as the Kundalini energy or primordial waters, and the children representing the pituitary and hypothalamus glands. When you look at the coronation picture with them and the children. The law of polarity states that everything is in a continuum and has an opposite. We can suppress and transform undesirable thoughts by concentrating on the opposite pole. With Empress Menen being coronated on the same day as Imperial Majesty is a historical and spiritual union. The Empress and her ladies of honor enter from the right, and she takes a seat to the right of the Emperor. The symbology of the coronation is full activation of the goddess and god state. His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie representing the left brain, Her Imperial Majesty Empress Menen representing the right brain and Kundalini energy. The triple crown is the pineal, pituitary, and hypothalamus glands that sit between the left and right brain. Her Imperial Majesty Empress Menen being crowned on the same day as Empress implies that she is not a queen. Grimm's Law Dictionary defines queen as whore. Though she has a king, she is setting the Emperor's standard from this day forth. The queen represents the harlot, Queen Elizabeth, riding the beast called the British monarchy, Revelation 7:1, Revelation 7:14, which has fought for the imperial scepter and the riches of Ethiopia through enormous deceitful tactics to claim the birthrights of Africa's only uncolonized country. There is physically only one Haile Selassie and Empress Menen, but spiritually, we are all gods, we are all elect of God, conquering lions of one of the 12 tribes of Isis, Ra, and El, lights of this world, which this world is the mind activated by wearing the triple crown or raising the crown chakra, riding the feminine Kundalini energy through the gates of Zion. And biography sources, My Life in Ethiopia's Progress, Pre-Colonization of the Americas by African Moors, Holy Pibi, Promise Key, Lion Hath Prevailed, Haile Selassie's Speeches, Rise of Power, Seven Plains, Ethiopia, Missing Link to African History, Legacy of the Dogon Moorish paradigm, Shadow Atlantis. So that's the significance of the coronation happening on the same day, right? Everything Moorish. They put it on the record. It's there. 7 everything. 7 priests, 7 this, 7 that, 7 times around, whatever, 7 times kiss something, 7. You know, if you're talking 7, you already know who you're dealing with. 5. Noble Drew Ali left specific instructions to the members of the MSTA. How long did it take for those Moors to sell out the Prophet and or divine movement after his transition? You can go get one of my other books, Noble Drew Ali Plenipotentiaries, where we address those who were with Noble Drew Ali and those who were against Noble Drew Ali. You're gonna get all these on khalifamedia.com. Right. Now, with regard to the sellout of Noble Drew Ali, we know that before he died, they were trying to take him out. We know that he went around to the temples, came back, and furniture's all out in the street and stuff like that. This is how they honored Noble Drew Ali. People on our side of the nation that claim he was only a joke and unreal threw his stuff in the street. So they sold out before Noble Drew Ali transition. This is what you're dealing with, your own. And the European just sits back, wait for the dust to clear, and then pick up the scraps. All the time, same theme, every time, like clockwork. But, you know, this is a new era of time now. And new Moors there with their eyes wide open, seeing and knowing. None of the Moors that they're used to, who don't stand up on birthrights and willing to just, you know, go with the program just because. Not these Moors. You know, and again, you can't limit this to those buildings called Moorish Science Temple. People who are, you know, interested in knowing about what this is. Don't limit this to MSTA and think that's what it means to be a Moor if you proclaim to be a Moor. That's not what it means. Because majority of the people who call themselves that are not doing what Moorish Science Temple of America was supposed to be doing. They have not and they will not do what's supposed to be done. Only very few. Like we say, we have our shows where people call in. We have our email where people email us and they tell us, yeah, I went to that temple for 20 years. 20 years I've been in that place. And I've never, ever heard anything like what you're talking about in your classes, in the classes that they got. Never. I've been in there 20 years. Never? Never heard Black's Law Dictionary, ever? Never. Right? And what we're trying to show people is that because this is your birthright, because this is something that there's a campaign to stop this, only because there's a campaign to stop this, you have to make sure that you're doing your own due diligence so they can't pull the wool on you. Because they're not going to deal with everybody the same. That's why it's hard for Moors to even assist our people. Because more, you know what I mean? Like, there's Moors who have beat this B system. Straight point blank, B system doesn't bother them at all. They do whatever it is that they do. They don't have any issues. Matter of fact, when they're coming up, whatever, they're talking about good morning, Mr. Bay, and all of that. They don't even pay attention to certain Moors, right? Now, those Moors that have it like that, that's because of them. That's not because of they heard something or somebody said something, or that's because of them. They're walking their path that they're walking, right? Why? Because as a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a woman thinketh, so is she. As a woman thinketh, so is she. Do not be fooled by the persona that you see something, you see a Moor do something, and then that Moor is going to tell you what he did, and then you're going to do that, and then that's going to work for you. No, that was his or her own ritual that they did. That's their ritual that they did. That's nothing to do with you. And this is how people get played by go into buildings, sit there for 20 years and not learn anything. Because you're relying on some people. You're relying on people. It's like we tell people all the time. Like, you can't tell me that you live in a place where you're renting, right? And there's a door hanging off and you're waiting for landlord to come and fix the door hanging off. And you've been waiting 6 months because you put out a work order 2 years ago and the door's still hanging off and you're complaining. How about you just fix the door? And then everything's cool. How about take some responsibility? Instead of fighting being responsible. Don't fight being responsible. It's time for us to take responsibility. Our people die for a lack of knowledge, but Black people don't read. So wonder why we're the only ones dying. Our people die for a lack of knowledge, but Blacks don't read. Even if they say they know themselves, they still don't read. And you think all the dying Black people is because of some racism? How about because your ass doesn't read? Because lack of knowledge is why our people die. And people came and brought us knowledge. And only Moors apply what they learn. Think about it. Think about everything that our people learn, right? All the stuff that they study, they go on trips all over the world and all that type of stuff, whatever. How much of them apply that stuff that they're learning? Like, as Moors, we apply what we learn. As Moors, what we learn, it actually goes into practice. And again, it's only Moors.
Majority of people, it's a fashion show. Know thyself is a fashion show. It's not about intellectual evolution. It's about fashion show. I have the best conscious hat on. I'm gonna sell you conscious hats. I'm gonna sell you conscious jockey shorts. We sell these conscious socks because everybody needs socks, so you know we have conscious socks. And nothing happening. But you talk to Moors, you find that Moors got their own businesses. Moors been at their own business. Moors out there cutting Grant Hill's hair. You know a Moor cuts Grant Hill's hair? A Moorish American national cuts Grant Hill's hair ever since he was in high school. How's that? How's that? And people don't know what's up. But barbershop, Noble Jewelry all over the place. Moroccan flag, all of that. But Grant Hill goes there. Grant Hill's not that those guys are terrorists or whatever like that. I'm not going to cut hair there because they might bomb me or something like that. He goes to a Moor. Remember all the times that you've been seeing him and he had the fade and all that stuff? Moor did that. And again, right? That's a MSTA Moor. Not poly MSTA, doing stuff properly. Right? So trust that the people that sold out, they've been known that they were gonna sell out. They were just waiting for their opportunity. Threw his stuff in the street. And have you think that some Chicago police made him sleep on ice and all that type of stuff, and then that's how he died of something? You fall for that? No wonder. No wonder you're filling out SF-181 forms. No wonder you're filing UCCs and you think this is about commerce. No wonder you're doing herds of rice statute and you're claiming all this BS. No wonder. Because the whole time you've been following traders. No wonder it's okay. Oh yeah, it's okay if he's a pedophile. It's all right, you know. He's a Moor. Oh, are they doing stuff behind closed doors? Okay, it's okay, you know. That's our Grand Sheik or whatever. We're gonna ride with him. It doesn't even matter. And these people knew that they were gonna do that. Had plans. And again, it's very touchy because all that's around, as far as Moorish Science Temple right now, are dirty Moors. And 1% of the Moorish Science temples are thumbs up. Nobody go around and check their stuff and be like, oh yeah, you guys are doing what's supposed to be done. You go to some of these other temples, nobody is gonna be like Martin Luther on the Boondocks when he came back, cuss everybody out. Trifling ass Negroes. I was marching that we did, and this is what y'all are about right now. I'm back, and you guys never took me to all the 500 schools that you built since we left. You having some party when I came back? Noble Drew Ali. You came back right now? Oh. Heads would roll right now. If you just seen a light in the beam and then Noble Drew Ali's there. Know that all these people here, they're playing that they were Moorish Science Temple and reincarnated him and all that, heads would roll. People were given the instructions. They were supposed to tell that to the members. They didn't. So at this time, at this point, based on there being a sellout and all that, it's probably better that you start thinking about handling your own affairs. Get yourself around some good quality minded Moors and save yourself. Forget. I want to charter for Moorish Science Temple so that way we could do what Noble Drew Ali said is supposed to do, because Moorish Science Temple is Moorish Science Temple what? How about just be yourself? Noble Drew Ali say that in instructions? More, be yourself. Real simple instruction. You're going to have to know what self is. As when you go, talk to Brother Hassan, talk to Mother Raz, talk to whoever else out there, you know what I mean? Talk to Sherece L. You know, go get your natal chart done so you can be yourself. So you can't be yourself if you don't know yourself. And you can't know yourself if you don't have a natal chart. To know that, you know, maybe that black box day is not going to bother you. To know that, hey, maybe I don't have to be underneath the moon energy. Maybe I can be anywhere, because energy goes through everything. Hey, figured something out. Maybe raise your frequency, raise the vibration. Don't get caught in the box. This is not about MSTA. Trust me. I'm a Grand Sheikh of MSTA, and I'm telling you, it's not about MSTA. Telling you. I'm also a divine minister and a grand governor. Trust me, it's not about MSTA. This is about your birthrights. This is about you better start studying to know who's who and what's what around here. Because the violations are not going to stop until you give up on the BS. And we're trying to show our people, you know what I mean? If you're so African, then get the F out of America. Go back to Africa then, if you're so from there. Why are you still in the slave master's land? Go the hell home. Get the hell out of here. If this is America with a triple K and all that stuff, why are you building a mosque here and have people come into stuff here when you don't care about here? Obviously, you don't care about here because you're not doing nothing to represent here. You're representing some stuff from over there. And claiming that that's your culture, you never been over there. And even when you go over there, people over there are like, what are you doing here? You're not from here. You're from over there. And you're trying to tell them. They're from over there, but you're trying to tell them you're a slave. You came from over there. And they're really going to think that they should be doing business with you and international exchange. Why? It's the problem. Which is why Noble Drew Ali came, started the Old Canaanite Temple, then the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, under the banner of Moorish Divine National Movement, then changed Moorish Holy Temple of Science to Moorish Science Temple of America, and nothing was supposed to change. They were supposed to still be going around putting temples everywhere. Everybody from the UNIA, after Garvey got deported, were supposed to join Moorish Science Temple of America, right? Proclaim their nationality, and then take whatever it is that Garvey gave them, apply that to what Noble Drew Ali now gave them, realize what real unity is. Forget this is about Moorish Science Temple. We are a nation, and everybody use their connects, and we start being what it wasn't hard, but sellouts. People who are diverse themselves. They're diverse their own ancestors. They're separating themselves from their own ancestors in order to keep our people suffering forever. Remember, they think it's all about fiat or, you know what I mean, a house that they got or a jet that they got. So they're good. They're good with their whatever they got. I told you the Grand Sheik with the Benz that passed the Moors cleaning up in the street. The Grand Sheik with the Benz saw the Moors cleaning up the street, said what up, and kept driving. That's how busy he was. He was so busy he couldn't get out the car and pick up one can. Just one can. Nah, because he's on his high horse. He's on his high horse. He's holier than thou. Oh yeah, and he's a Grand Sheik of Moor Science Temple. You know the disservice that these people did? You know the disservice that people did? And then you're looking at what active Moors are doing as we don't know what we're doing. When we can show you transcripts, we can show you letters from these people, we could show you proclamations from them, we could show you $1 notes, we can show you books, we can show you figurines, we could show you everything that everybody knows what's up, and that we're on the path to righteousness and liberation. And you're denying the Moors, especially the ones who are living this. This is what it is. Right? There is video and audio of Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Okay, again, you don't even have to read anymore. You already know where she's going. And it goes back to the question before, sellouts. Because there's no way that there's video of Haile Selassie's coronation in 1930, and there's audio and video of Marcus Garvey in the car and stuff like that, and they're going down the street and all that stuff. But there's nothing of Noble Drew Ali. Nobody preserved anything. Nobody preserved anything? Or did they preserve it and they're just hiding it because, you know, forget that coming out? They can't. No way. No way. Nope, sorry. I don't care what you come up with. Those aren't getting put out if those are available. Just because these people know that it's about destroying the Moorish paradigm. They can't because, you know, Moors taught them. So if they destroy the Moors, they destroy themselves. It's going to be, that's just what it's going to be. When the last Moor says, all the Europeans, they're going to die. So, you know, like Fresh Prince said, you know, can't live with them, can't live without them. Can't live with them, can't live without them. So since they're here, clearly to stay, how about we get ourselves organized as our own body politic? Because we don't need some audio of Noble Drew Ali. We have his literature that we could read. And he could sound however he wants to sound in your head. It's all right. It's still the words of the prophet. Yeah, it would be pretty interesting, but no, we don't need that. You know, not because there's a this guy and that guy, and they have audio we have to see. Somebody's got to present forget that BS. You should already know that you're not presenting that. Period, point blank. You can't even find the Cuba stuff. You can't even find the records for, the community center that we had. We get audio. You don't even know where the treasury money is. Not audio of Noble Drew Ali we want. You hear some audio of Noble Drew Ali, so then we could be sure that there was really a Noble Drew Ali. How about where's the treasury money? How come certain people have mausoleums? Noble Drew Ali has a little plaque like this, say he's buried there. Which again, shows his humility and shows the arrogance of these bastards who call themselves reincarnated. The arrogance of them. They have a mausoleum. They're the prophet reincarnated. They're the prophet reincarnated, but they have a mausoleum. And the real prophet has a little plaque. You can't even find the shit. You're kicking grass and stuff like that, try to find the stuff. Which shows his humility. Which shows how humble he was. That with all that finance that he brought in, he didn't set aside about, when I die, make sure you build me a mausoleum so everybody could know where I'm buried and they come to my gravesite and give me honors. No, you put a little plaque. That doesn't show you who's real and who's out here faking. Then, maybe you weren't meant to get this life. You'll be back. Don't worry. Question 7, last question. Garvey quote on page 28, "To me, a man has no master but God." What should Moors take from this quote in conjunction with the prophet stating to take this information and save yourself? Well, to me, a man has no master but God. Moors should recognize that in their Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, it explains to them about man. Lets you know before man. Lets you know where man is supposed to go. But lets you also know that man and Allah are one. So man is really a servant unto himself. Man is really the superior of himself. And in conjunction with the principles and the heart of being a humanitarian, there should be no issues with you and anybody out there. As soon as there's issues, then you check yourself, you realize that, I'm not tripping. I know I'm not tripping. If before I said that I was a Moor, everybody called me for whatever, stuff going on and all that stuff in here, then saying I'm a Moor, no calls from anybody. I don't think I'm tripping. I really don't think I'm tripping. Because if somebody from Switzerland could call, and somebody from Germany could call, somebody from Philippines could call, somebody from almost every state could call, then that would mean that they're tripping too then. And they tell me that they're not tripping. Matter of fact, they tell me the same thing happened to them. Yeah, you know what I mean? I used to chill, and when it's time for football, let's go play. And all of a sudden, you passing people in the street like, "Yo, man, what's up, man? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was looking for my change in my knapsack that I am not wearing right now." People get weird when you start saying you're more. But think about how weird it is if you're stumbling around in darkness and bump into something, but you're in darkness. That would be pretty weird. You're in darkness and you bump into something. And you know, since you're in darkness, you can't see what you bumped into. So now you're walking cautiously, you know, because you don't know. And then you fall in a hole, slap your chin or whatever, and then you get up again and you're still in darkness. Now you really don't know where to go now, because you're either going to walk in something or you might fall into a hole. Two bad examples in darkness. And then it continues, mishaps after mishaps, in darkness. And we're trying to bring our people into marvelous light to let you see that there's a way broader thing that you're connected to. And it has nothing to do with something outside yourself. It has to do with what's within, which is God. Because you and God are one. And man must adhere to the principles of love. First principle, love. Truth. So the lies and stuff has to. Peace. Freedom and justice. So you refuse to adhere to the principles, welcome to living hell. Just ask the people who don't live by those principles. You can look in their eyes and see. You know, don't condemn them, just give them a hug. Give them a hug, send them on their way. Make sure you, like Taj said, have your turtlenecks and stuff like that, because the vampires don't play if they hold you. You know. Some vampires are, you know, cool. Some zombies, they don't want to really eat anybody. They're just trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life as a zombie. But you have to save yourself and your children and all that stuff. You know, don't be save yourself, let them perish or whatever. Right? Save yourself, but be considerate of others around you that might need saving. Because it's not just about us. Right? So I'm pretty sure there's going to be another one, because Sis wanted to do the interview stuff, and it actually did go. She did say the questions would allow for discussion, which it did. So we greatly appreciate the questions. Greatly appreciate the questions. And we'll just find some stuff here to put out just to make that connection once again. Just to make the connection once again that there is a connection. Noble Drawley plenipotentiaries. The Negro is crying out for a Muhammad, a prophet who will bring him the Quran of economic and intelligent welfare. Marcus Garvey. The Messiah considered what European Americans did to the Negro a crime to the black race, and called for a united front against the disenfranchisement, lynchings, and utter disrespect for the race as a whole. Messiah Marcus Garvey visited Toronto in 1924 to establish a branch of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Barred from entering the United States, Garvey attempted to implement in Montreal and in Hamilton. During October 1928, he went to visit UNIA branches, but was blocked by immigration authorities. In 1937, however, He held a regional UNIA conference in Toronto, was principal of a summer school in African philosophy in Toronto, and visited Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. At the 1927 meeting, 1927 meeting, he inaugurated his School of African Philosophy, lecturing to selected students after the convention adjourned and later offering transcripts as a correspondence course through his London office. Filled with Garvey's philosophy of success and prosperity, their series of lessons were designed to prepare UNI officials and organizers for leadership positions. The civilization of today has gone drunk and crazy with its power, and by such it seeks through injustices, fraud, and lies to crush the unfortunate. But if I am apparently crushed by the system of influence and misdirected power, my cause shall rise again to plague the conscience of the corrupt. For this I am satisfied, and for you I repeat, I am glad to suffer and even die. Again I say, cheer up, for better days are ahead. I shall write the history that will inspire millions that are coming and leave the posterity of our enemies to reckon with the hosts for the deeds of their fathers. Marcus Garvey. Mob violence and injustice never helped a race or nation. And because of this knowledge, as gathered from the events of all ages, we as a people in this new age desire to love all mankind, not in a social sense, but keeping with the divine injunction, man love thy brother, philosophies and opinions. Noble Drew Ali. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own brother, before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father's contribution to the support of the whole race, and his care be continued to all in your love to each other. Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Marcus Garvey. Point me to a weak nation, and I will show you a people oppressed, abused, taken advantage of by others. Show me a weak race, and I will show you a people reduced to serfdom, peonage, and slavery. Show me a well-organized nation, and I will show you a people and a nation respected. Noble Drew Ali. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, am sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now. Need every one of you who think that your situation can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. Marcus Garvey. Let us, in shaping our destiny, set before us the qualities of human justice, love, charity, mercy, and equality, and equity. Upon such foundation, let us build a race, and I feel that the God who is divine, the almighty creator of the world, shall forever bless this race of ours, and who to tell that we shall not teach men the way to life and liberty and true human happiness. Noble Drew Ali. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in the land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilizations and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Marcus Garvey. Man, know thyself. To me, man has no master but God. Man is his authority to a sovereign Lord. As for the individual man, so for the individual race. This feeling makes man so courageous, so bold, as to make it impossible for his brother to intrude upon his rights. Noble Drew Ali, man, know thyself. Know thyself and the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold a part of Allah himself within thee, Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. If you are not careful, your own brother will try to put you back into slavery. Marcus Garvey. Government is not infallible. Government is only an executive control, a centralized authority for the purpose of expressing the will of the people. Before you have a government, you must have the people. Without the people, there can be no government. The government must be, therefore, an expression of the will of the people. Noble Drew Ali. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that make a man and nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by name and principles, you have no true wealth. The true nationalist. The true nationalist does not escape and hide through the glorification of the past what must be done in the present and the future. The bogus nationalist, however, rises and raises up the people, builds up a false pride in the people in terms of past history, but he leaves them groping as to what must be done now. The true nationalist is intrepid. Not that the nationalist does not have fear, but he learns to operate in spite of fear. Fear does not paralyze him. He uses the fear as energy to move forward and to confront his enemies. He does not hide behind his fear, behind high-sounding phrases, high-sounding scholarship, and dredging up the past. He dresses up the past as a means of integrating it into his personality, as a foundation for his movement forward and his thrust into the future. He does not put forth a kind of pseudo game, as I see many nationalistic people putting forth, a sort of participate with the establishment, sort of arouse the revolutionary fervor of their audiences, but when you stop to think about it, they have left you with no real tools or techniques for dealing with our current problems and do not project the future as what it will be like. Amos Wilson. A true nationalist is entrepreneurial. He is building something. He is constructing something. We see that in Garvey, not just a concern with the past, not just an identification with Egypt and other great African empires of the past, not just picking up a little detail upon little detail of some African past, but of a sound movement forward in concrete brick and mortar construction, a sound hands-on developing and actualization of African ideology and political movement. He is one who thrusts his fear aside and moves forward, a true African nationalist. He not only respects his ethnic heritage and the glories of his ancestors, but he is equally, if not more, concerned with the inheritance he's going to pass on to his children, with the legacy he's going to give his children. There are people who scrape their monies together, give it to the airlines, give it to the Arabs, jump out of the plane, bow, scrape, and kiss the earth, just to salve their own wounded egos. But when asked for $1,500 toward the feeding of our children, toward the education of our children, toward the creation of jobs for our people, toward the gaining of control over real estate, and the gaining control over our wealth, somehow there's not able to make those sacrifices. They were willing to worship the pyramids of 4,000 years ago, but will not build pyramids at the present so the children can see what they have left behind as well. Brother Amos Wilson. African-centered consciousness versus the New World Order. So Islam to all the Moors, peace and love for joining us today on Correcting Black History Month. If the message wasn't clear, you can go to rvbaypublications.com to further your learning. And the books from today, you can get those at media.com. Those that were in the chat today. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the family that's studying, passing this info on. Our people are clear about their nationality and birthrights. And also, if you have questions to this side, you got questions, you can go to Canaanland Guide, CANAANLAND and feel free to email your questions. Be free to email your questions. Feel free. Right? Do that for yourself. To clear up, your confusion that you might have with regard to this. Because you shouldn't be confused. Be clear. Absolutely clear. Right? Peace and love.